These entitled people make anime villains look humble. No, seriously. I'm diving into the juiciest Reddit stories that'll make you yell your marrow at your screen. Which story gave you main character rage? Let me know in the comments. Number 1. My neighbor took a bulldozer to my yard. My wife and I bought our house along with the empty lot between us and neighbors. It was surveyed and boundary markers were placed. A couple weeks after moving in, I go outside to find the boundary markers removed. I'd taken pics, so not the end of the world. A few weeks later, I go outside at about 8 a.m. to find my neighbor clearing the back of my empty lot with some bobcat thing. There was a lilac bush back there and a few small trees. I told him to stop. He did, but a lot of damage had already been done. My wife and I decided to try to make the best of it, so we put down a couple $100 worth of native wildflower seeds. We had talked about doing something like that at some point anyway. A couple days after putting down the seed, I run to the gas station. I'm not even gone 15 minutes. When I return, the neighbors are out there putting grass seed and straw down where we just put wildflower seed. I lost it. I asked them WTF they thought they were doing. They said they thought it would look better and we should thank them for the improvements. They let their giant horse dog use our yard as a toilet and tried to turn the back of our yard into a circle drive for their giant trucks. They are insufferable. We have been saving money for some work that needs to be done on our house, but because of them, we had to drop $2,500 on chain link fencing, and I've spent the last few weeks putting that up when I can. I'm tired and just needed to vent. Number 2. Hey, I'm rich, but can I use your goats for free? I'm doing you a favor. I have a very small ranch in California. I used to own a brush clearing business using goats. I haven't done that in years, but I do still have 2 elderly mini goats. Yesterday I got an email from a friend I've known since HS. We're both in our 60s now. She lives overseas and also has a massive house in Malibu with a lot of land. She comes from a family with a known name that was one of the wealthiest in California. She inherited millions. She has never for a minute lived without. The email let me know that she was in town to deal with her Malibu house as her land was damaged by our recent fires. She asked if I could bring my goats over to munch on the brush on her land. I haven't heard from her in over a year. No talk of pay. No explanation. The email was written as though she was doing me a friendly favor and it would be no big deal for me to haul 2 goats over to her place, spend a few days overseeing them eating, hauling them back and forth at night, as a favor, for free. I explained that my goats were old, and that I didn't do that anymore. That the work involved with doing something like this was pretty extensive. No apologies were forthcoming. Instead, she was miffed and wanted to know if I knew anyone else who would do that for her. Undoubtedly for free. I told her I did not know anyone with goats. I do, but I'll be damned if I'm going to subject them to this entitled woman. She abruptly said thanks and that was it. No, let's get together, I'm in town. No, it would be nice to see you. Just, let me use your goats for free. Why won't you do that for me? This same woman some years ago descended on a mutual close friend who was dying. She insisted on staying at the dying friend's house, taking up all of the woman and her family's time, energy and resources to the point she had to be asked to leave because she was imposing so much. At that time, I had to cancel my long-planned and paid-for trip to see my very close friend before she died because this woman drained all of their energy. My best friend died without seeing me because of this woman and her entitlement. At the funeral, only my dead friend's family was supposed to speak, but the Malibu woman had written a 3-page speech that she thought she was going to give, because she considers herself family. When she got up and tried to head up to the front of the church to speak, my dead friend's brother finally had enough. He stood up, grabbed this woman by the arm and forcefully dragged her back to her seat. He was furious. I suppose it shouldn't be a surprise, but the sheer entitlement of some people who were born into money never fails to shock me. Number 3. I'm going to sue you if I can't park my Porsche in your free car park. I work for a hotel in central London. Was there for 3 years, went and did something else, and then came back.
I like working there.
In my first stint there, I spent a lot of time making sure that all our listings were accurate and created a lot of automatic responses to send to guests using online booking platforms.
We aren't a big fancy hotel. A little independent family-owned one.
One of the perks we offer is that we do not charge for breakfast, nor do we charge our guests for using our car park. However, we offer this on a first-come, first-served basis, and we do not reserve spots for anyone. The hotel has run like this for decades, and this is the fairest way they found. We rarely have a full car park, but in the rare occasion it happens, we share details of the easiest and cheapest options nearby. All of this is stated clearly on our website, in our listings, and is explained in our automatic messages sent at the time of booking. Imagine my surprise then, when we receive a message through our online booking platform, stating that a guest wanted a full refund for his non-refundable booking as he claimed we state that we guarantee parking and not that we have limited parking like others did. On a side note, unlimited free parking anywhere, let alone central London, is a rare luxury. I saw this message and immediately went into fix-it mode. We have fewer cars these days due to ULEZ and congestion charge fees, so our car park rarely gets full. We still inform our guests of alternative options because, managed expectations, and also, it isn't impossible that we have a full car park occasionally.
I called the guest to explain the above. I said he had nothing to worry about. We just like to make sure guests are forewarned with options.
This was not good enough.
I have a Porsche Cayenne.
I only booked guaranteed parking. Sir, we have never offered this, and it doesn't say that on the booking platform, but either way, you are highly unlikely to be without a spot.
No.
Not good enough.
I want a full refund. You are liars. I am owed a refund.
If not, I will contact my solicitor. At this point, I could feel my anger rising, and my boss came over and just pulled up the listing. He can see I am getting a little flustered because, like I said, I had worked hard to make sure our listings were accurate and it had been a policy kept for 5 years, because it worked. We looked at the parking information on the listing he booked. Sir, I have the booking page open. I will read the listing out to you.
Parking limited, parking available.
At this point, the guest must have also read the page properly, because all of a sudden, a very small voice, almost disembodied from the booming, confident, sure voice a second prior, said, "I'm sorry. I see it says limited parking. We will see you when we check in. Thank you. Goodbye." I put the phone down, looked at my boss, and we cracked up. Holy moly! The entitlement some people feel because they have a Porsche. Not to be funny, but it's London. Half the kids drive around in leased Porsches or Range Rovers.
No one cares about your car.
Number 4. So, tonight, an acquaintance I haven't spoken to in at least 5 years calls me.
Marcus, I'll call him.
Marcus did make a little chit-chat, then they ask me what I'm doing for work. I say I'm between full-time stuff right now, but looking. They agree that the job market is hard, and how they are divesting themselves of a business that they've had for decades as the suckers aren't buying anything anymore. I give a little laugh, because that's a weird way to refer to clients, but maybe Marcus is a little down. They then mention about their home in New England, and their home in the West Coast in a highly desirable area on the beach, that they want to split the entire summer between the two locations because it's so hot in the South in the summer. I say something along the lines of that's a heck of a problem to have, and we laugh again. That's when they drop their entitled request on me. They want someone to care for their extremely obese, nearly bed-bound elderly auntie that lives with them. 7 days a week, no days off, for 3 months. The best part?
This home is not air-conditioned.
They want to offer a fellow human $200 per week since it's light duty, but they say I'd have my own room. I own a home, so that isn't of interest to me. I explained that I was going to have to pass on this amazing offer, and Marcus got really insulted. He whined and said they didn't know anyone as nice as me. And since I was a flight attendant before this, I know the first aid in serving food stuff. Again, I declined and he was confused. I said, "Would you work for $200 a week?" "Because I won't." He said he would call in a week to see if I changed my mind. Blocked him as soon as the call ended. Number 5. I pay property tax. This happened literally an hour ago. I'm a 27F and this person I interacted with is around early 50s male. So there is street parking around the neighborhood where I work. Typical Saturday afternoon, it is hard to find parking. When I found one, I noticed a car pulling up behind me. I inched up as close as I can to give him room. I got out of the car and he said, "Move your car, my wife parks there. We've been parking here for 18 years. Told him no, it's street parking. I wouldn't be able to find any at that point. His reply? "I pay property tax. Move your car." Told him, "You pay property tax on your house, not the streets." So no, I started to walk away because I ain't going to deal with that. He said to me, "I'm going to call the cops." I said to him, "Go ahead. I didn't do anything wrong." As I was passing by his car, he said, "Fucking bitch." I literally turned around and went up to him. "What did you say to me? Did you just call me a fucking bitch?" He tried to backpedal and said, "No, I was on my phone." I wouldn't say that. His phone is in the car and he had no earpiece. You did. You weren't on the phone. No. I was on the phone. I have a daughter, I wouldn't say that. I was getting so heated, so I walked away again. Then at the last possible second I saw a car drove off, so I turned around and went back for my car, afraid he's going to key my door. You know what he fucking said? "I have Filipino friends, I'm sorry." I looked at him even more pissed. "I'm not Filipino." He tried to double down. "You look Filipino." "I'm not." "So you're also racist?" "I'm saying I have Filipino friends." I said to him, "Just shut up." At that point I got in my car and drove off to park. Keep in mind, I do take boxing and self-defense. I don't back down from a middle-aged man trying to intimidate me, saying he's going to call the cops. I just get angrier and double down. And then to top it off, he assumed my race is Filipino, so that made me more piss. Thank you for letting me vent. Dumb fucks who thinks he is entitled to street parking just because he pay property tax. So tell me, who wins the most entitled person crown for today? Best comment gets pinned.